In Module 1, we're going to be looking at what is instructional design and what is the role of instructional designers. Now, instructional design is a complete process. It's the planning that happens before teaching actually happens. So it starts with assessing the learner needs. What does the learner need to know? And then you then find the content, you design how the course should look, the objectives of the course, you will develop the assessments for the course as well, and then finally you will develop the evaluation of the course. And we're going to be looking at all the different aspects of this in this particular instructional design course. And I should stop saying course because instructional design is not limited to college courses alone. Instructional design spans any learning experience in any environment. So corporate learning and corporate training programs has instructional design behind it. Now, some of you in your professional life or even as students might have been required to do some kind of sensitivity training or sexual harassment awareness training, Title IX, and different kinds of training, and they would have been little online modules. You'll have little scenarios, you choose the right answer, it be say half an hour long or something, and you complete it as a requirement. Those are also instructional design modules that have been developed by some instructional designer. So instructional design is any learning activity that is designed in its totality, from the point of what does the learner need right up to evaluating how successful this particular module was. That complete process is an instructional design process. And there are many parts to this. Different people approach the process in different ways, which is why you have different instructional design models. But the main aspects of it remain pretty much the same across all of them. Instructional design also includes what kind of books you will, or what kind of materials you will provide, and what kind of assessments you will use. So for example, in this particular course, the readings that were selected, the assessments that have been designed for this course, the layout of the course is all a part of the instructional design process that I did as the instructional designer for this course. So who is an instructional designer? An instructional designer is basically the person who designs this whole thing. An instructional designer starts with looking at what does a learner need, and then coming up with the materials and the layout for that particular module, and then developing an evaluation for it. Now, I want to draw a distinction between instructional designers and facilitators. A facilitator is the person who actually does the teaching, the one who stands in front of the learners and does the teaching. For example, in this course, I am the facilitator. In the context of higher education, usually the instructional designer and facilitator are one and the same person. Again, in the context of this course, that's me. I designed the course and I'm also facilitating it. But this is usually in public universities. In private universities and in corporate training and many other areas, there is a very distinct separation of instructional designers and facilitators. Designers design the course. They then hand it off to the facilitator who teaches the course. So the designer never actually stands in front of the learner and teaches the course. That happens only in these very small situations like education, where the facilitator and instructional designer are the same person. Even in that context, if you look at UW Extension, Extension is full of instructional designers who design the courses and then hand it off to facilitators in different UW colleges who will then conduct the course. So there is a distinction here. So what does that then mean for the instructional designer? As a designer, you need to develop a robust module that anyone can teach at any point. So you should have this module that is a complete package which you can give to anyone, and they should just be able to take it and be able to teach it immediately. And that's where the learning manual and the instructor manual and the student guide come in, which is what we will be doing in this particular course later on. That's because of this distinction between who is an instructional designer and who is a facilitator. Now, I've posted a couple of videos in this module just to give you an idea of what does an instructional designer do. Instructional design has a lot of scope nowadays because every organization requires training. Training is a very, very big industry, and it's a billion-dollar industry which is constantly upgraded and updated, and there is always a need. So you can't say that we did training today and hence that particular topic is done. Remember, when you are training on technology, say, as technology gets upgraded, there has to be new training for it. Let's say it's on office politics or conflict resolution. As new theories come or new laws get passed, all of this has to be changed, and there are new training has to be developed. So training is never something that's going to go out of scope, or that there's going to reach a point of saturation. That's not going to happen. So the skills that you learn here are very relevant, and they will and they have a lasting what can I say? I'm sorry. They have a long-term scope to them. So through the rest of the modules, we're going to be specifically drilling down into the different aspects of instructional design and looking at how to do instructional design, so to speak.